There is a specific type of nostalgia we all know. It's that warm, golden filter that covers our memories of a time when responsibilities were small and nights were long. We look at the Stifler character and we see the master of the party, the king of the eternal summer. He is the guy who always has a plan for Friday night, the one who keeps the energy high when everyone else is starting to yawn. In our cultural memory, he is a symbol of vitality. He represents the refusal to let the fun die. We laugh at his antics. We admire his stamina. He seems to have discovered a secret that the rest of us missed: how to make the best moment of your life last forever. He is the living embodiment of the glory days, a monument to a time when everything was possible and nothing had consequences. But if we pause the movie, if we turn down the volume of the soundtrack, a different question starts to form. Is this really vitality, or is it something else? There is a strange discomfort that arises when you see someone playing a game that everyone else has already stopped playing. When the party continues past 4 a.m., past 5 a.m., at some point, the celebration turns into a vigil. We have to ask, is he staying at the party because he is having fun? Or is he staying because he is terrified of what waits for him in the silence of his own room? The Stifler state, in this light, isn't about loving the party. It's about fearing the end of it. It's the panic of the transition. It raises the uncomfortable possibility that what looks like freedom might actually be a prison of his own making, a prison where time is forbidden to move forward. You can see this dynamic in a very small, specific moment. It happens when the group gets back together after a few years apart. Everyone is sitting around a table, talking about jobs, mortgages, or maybe just the exhaustion of the week. And then Nuthan enters the state. He tries to ignite the old spark. He tells a story from 10 years ago with the same intensity as if it happened yesterday. He uses the old nicknames. He calls for shots, and for a split second there is a silence. It's not a hostile silence. It's worse. It's a polite silence. The others smile. They nod. Maybe they even chuckle. But in their eyes you see a distance. They are visiting the past. He is living in it. You notice a flicker of confusion in his face, just for a microsecond, when he realizes the energy didn't match. He realizes he is the only one who hasn't changed clothes. That micro-expression is the crack in the armor. It's the realization that the currency he has saved up all his life has suddenly been devalued. We shouldn't judge this. We need to understand the human emotion underneath it. This isn't about immaturity in a derogatory sense. It is about the deep, primal fear of becoming ordinary. For the Stifler archetype, growing up looks like a surrender. It looks like giving up on color and accepting a world of gray. He equates maturity with the death of the self. So he fights time. He fights it with volume, with chaos, with excess. It's a heartbreaking battle because it's a battle against the inevitable. He is trying to hold back the tide with a plastic cup. The sadness here is not that he is immature, but that he doesn't believe he has any value outside of that persona. He thinks that if he stops being the Mister, if he stops being the legend, he will disappear. He doesn't know who he is without an audience. This pattern doesn't just stay in high school movies. It expands into adult life. You see it in the 40-year-old executive who still needs to dominate every meeting with aggressive charisma, who treats his team like a fraternity. You see it in the person who cannot sit through a quiet Sunday afternoon without checking their phone 1,000 times, looking for the action. It's the refusal to sit with oneself. It's the person who changes partners the moment the relationship gets real, the moment the party phase of the romance fades into the building phase. It's a pattern of chronic starting and refusing to finish. It's the addiction to the spark and the allergy to the fire. The Stifler state is the eternal beginning, looping forever, because the middle requires a vulnerability he cannot afford. There is no villain here. The conflict is internal. On one side, there is the comfort of the known role. He knows how to be the man. He knows the lines. He knows the moves. It's safe. It's a warm blanket of ego. On the other side is the pain of growth. To grow, he would have to admit that the party's over. He would have to admit that he is lonely. He would have to put down the mask and let people see the tired face underneath. Both sides have valid arguments. The persona protects him from pain. Growth requires him to feel it. It's a standoff between safety and reality. And the tragedy is that safety eventually becomes suffocating. The armor that protected him in his 20s starts to crush him in his 30s. As time goes on, the gap widens. The friends go home earlier. The stories get repeated one too many times. The laughter becomes forced. The internal escalation happens when he is finally alone. The lights are on, the music is off. The adrenaline fades and the crash comes. It's in that car ride home, in the absolute silence of the dashboard, that the Stifler archetype faces his ghost. He feels the weight of the time he has frozen. He realizes that by refusing to change, he hasn't stopped time. He has just let it pass him by. He is a statue in a flowing river. The water moves and he erodes. The loneliness of the life of the party is the loudest sound in the world. It's the realization that everyone loves the character, but nobody knows the person. There is a moment that sums it all up. Imagine him standing in a room that is almost empty. There are a few stragglers left, people he doesn't really know. He raises a glass for a toast. To the best night ever, he says. But he's not looking at anyone. He's looking at the reflection in the window. He's toasting to a memory. He's toasting to a ghost. In that gesture, there is no joy. There is only a desperate plea for the moment to not end. It is a toast to nothing, a ritual performed to keep the silence at bay. The night ends. It always does. He walks out the door, and the morning air is cold. It's distinctively sober. He gets into his car. He doesn't turn on the radio. For the first time, he just sits there. The engine idles. The world is waking up, moving forward, transitioning into a new day. And he sits at the intersection, waiting for a light that changed a long time ago. We leave him there, not with judgment, but with recognition. We leave him in that pause, the moment before he decides whether to drive back to the past or finally, tentatively, put the car in gear and drive toward a quiet, unknown future.